Hey everybody, it's Santina from Solo Female Van Life Lessons, and this is the weirdest angle video I've ever shot. You're on my kitchen table right now, and the reason is we're going to talk about what food you bring car camping, especially if it's going to be a longer event or you're traveling larger distances like going for a week somewhere. Obviously this translates into what you can do for food and what you can bring with you on the road when you're full-time. I'm not full-time currently, I'm part-time, so the longest trip that I take is usually about 10 days. Anyway, had a subscriber who asked, what kind of food do you bring when you go car camping? It is a challenge to bring food in a car because a car does heat up, obviously, in the spring, fall, and summertime. Probably not as much in the fall, but at least on the East Coast here, you do have to worry about food spoilage. And not everyone wants to invest, especially in a car, in a large refrigerator, which is expensive and needs an onboard battery. So what I can tell you I do currently is I use a cooler, and I'm gonna scoot back. It's gonna be a weird angle, but hopefully I'll be able to show you what I use when I go car camping. So my friend Heidi gave me a cooler that was used to contain the coronavirus vaccine, and it's a very thick cooler. Let me show it to you. It's a cool cooler. So it's got a very thick wall, which makes all the difference. If you go for a cooler, no matter what size, small and compact like this one, or larger, just try to get one that has as much insulation as possible. The thicker the walls, the more expensive the coolers are going to be, but they might be worth it for you if you have certain kinds of food that you want to take on the road with you that you don't want to spoil. Other than that, what you're going to be doing on the road is just replacing your ice, and we'll talk about ice in a minute. And then of course there are those of you who will buy a refrigerator, and I'm not going to speak to that today. But we got this cooler and with its thick walls, and I just line it with a plastic bag in case there's any leak or condensation, anything like that. And the bag fits in here. It's just a whatever kitchen garbage bag. Fits in here probably very nicely. And then I take 4 drinking bottles. These are 16-ounce drinking bottles. And these have been used before, and I just refill them with tap water. And I freeze them. And then I put them in the 4 corners of the cooler, and then I pack my food in between. This ice will actually last 3 days. And what I would recommend is that you put your cooler in your car in a place where it's not in full sun, and see if you can get it in the shade. Put something over it to shade it, to keep it even cooler and have the ice last longer. Now I am going to mention that, well, let me show you how I strap the cooler down. They do make cooler straps, which I don't own, but I simply put the lid on, and then I have this belt that's kind of stretchy, and I put the belt around it, with the strap on the top, I'm sorry, the buckle on the top. I'm not able to do this. Come on, Santina, you can do this. Put the buckle on and tighten it, and then I'm all set. My cooler is strapped, and so at least if I have, God forbid, a car accident or have to stop quickly or something, my food's not going to go flying all out of the cooler. The cooler might go flying, but the food's not going to go anywhere. And again, I recommend that you use what you already have. So if you already have some kind of cooler, you already have a belt, you already have water bottles, just use what you have. If you have those ice packs that you freeze, I find that they don't last quite as long as the water bottles, but use whatever you have and see if it works for you. And then swap it out and buy new stuff as you think it makes sense for you. Now, I do want to mention that obviously I am going to be bringing water along on my trip. Water is essential. I bring about 1 gallon per day just for drinking and washing up dishes. And then I bring 2 gallons per campfire that I plan to have. So I just purchased gallon spring water, and I've obviously have used it. And then I just reuse these bottles. I fill it up with my tap. I do have lids for each of these bottles. They are screw-on lids, which makes a difference I don't like the kinds of gallon jugs that just have the press on lids. They can come apart and then you have water in your car and it's a mess. So get the screw on tight, and then I just keep them in this milk crate, and 6 of them fit. And usually for a weekend, 6 gallons is sufficient for me to drink. I like to drink a lot of water, especially when it's hot, to put out my campfires and for any washing that I need to do. If you're gonna go for longer than a weekend, I do recommend bringing more water or having a place to refill your gallon jugs. And so let's talk about what kind of food you can bring. Well, the first piece of advice that I'm going to give you is only bring food that you like. If you try to go on a special diet while you're camping, if you try to get healthier while you're camping, if you try something that you're not used to, not only will, in my opinion, will you not have the comfort of the food that you like when you're camping, but you might not be interested in the food, which kind of takes away from the camping experience, where you want everything to go smoothly and you want everything to be fun. You might also have digestive troubles. So I don't recommend that you do something drastically different than you would normally do at home. I am not a healthy eater when I go camping. I like the relaxation that I get when I'm out in nature, and I don't like to do a lot of preparation or cooking. But some people are completely opposite. If you like eating nothing but vegetables and salads, and you like prepping all of your veggies, and that's what you do normally, so you don't, it won't cause digestive issues with you, or it's not something that you're going to look at and go, oh, I don't want rabbit food, I want something substantial while I'm eating, then go for it. You know, do what works for you. But recognize that if you try to change your eating habits while you're on a camping event, it might backfire on you if you're trying to do something different than you normally do. So I'm all about convenience. Normally I will bring things like Pop-Tarts and Vienna sausages with crackers. So things like, you can bring crackers and cheese. Cheese actually holds up fine in heat. It gets all melty and the oil comes out of it, but there's no harm in not refrigerating it, especially if it's in a cooler. It usually doesn't melt, so I'm fine with crackers and cheese. Something else that I like to bring are dried fruits and nuts. So, but again, bring stuff that you like to munch on. I like to munch on all kinds of nuts and dried fruit. Another thing that is really convenient and tasty and has protein and will fill you up is peanut butter, and you can bring them with crackers as well. Or you can just buy the crackers with peanut butter on it. And then I do try to eat some healthy food. So one of the things that I find that really holds up well in a cooler are these just baby carrots that you can munch on. And I find that a lot of fruit holds up really well. These are plums. I don't find that my fruit goes bad except for bananas. I don't recommend that you bring bananas. Personally, I love bananas. They go in a car because it does heat up. They go ripe really, really fast, like super ripe really fast, and then your car smells like bananas. And then you can have dry cereal as a snack as well. I don't usually bring any kind of milk, but if I was going to bring milk for cereal in the morning or anytime, I would bring almond milk instead of cow's milk. Now, if you're going to do more substantial meals in the evening, you can be really lazy like I am. And I do have this cook set. I've never opened it. I've never used it. That's how lazy I am. But I could ostensibly put this on top of my little pocket rocket stove here, and I could cook with these pots and pans. What would I cook? Well, I could make myself some soup with crackers if I want to. Or, oops, sorry about that. Or you could just heat up water. On top of my pocket rocket, I have this billy can, which is just a tall, thin can that I got at Walmart. And it comes with a couple of coffee or tea mugs, which is kind of convenient. They nest in here. And I have used this for food before, which I'm not going to do anymore. That's why I got the pots and pans, because the water then starts tasting like food. So I want to use this just for water going forward. But you could use something like this to make any of these microwavable, just add water type meals. So this happens to be some noodles. You boil the water in your billy can or any kind of pot and pan on your little pocket rocket. You pour in the water, you close the lid, let it sit, and then you have a meal of some kind of noodles. You can also do instant soup, like cup of noodles. And again, you know, just look at whatever you have at the store and see what is microwavable. Usually, if it's microwavable, if you pour boiling water into it, it does the same thing. And I've even tried, this is not soup, this is just a noodle meal, a pad thai meal. I've even tried this on the road. Now it doesn't quite cook the noodles as much as I would like and as much as they would cook in a microwave, but it was a fast, hot meal and it was sufficient. This one, because it's pad thai and it's not, you don't put a lot of water in this because it's not a soup, the noodles just didn't really heat up very well because it was so little water that you add to it. But again, I mean, it was okay. I think I prefer going with the soups instead of the noodles because the boiling water really does work well with these microwavable soups. What I really like to do, it does get expensive, is buy these meals. And this is just one brand. There's many brands of these freeze-dried, I believe, meals that reconstitute with water. And they are entirely created for camping, backpacking, where you literally do just pour in the amount of boiling water that they call for. You seal it, you let it sit for a while, and then you have something that's a little heartier. It's a warm meal, which I like when I'm camping in the fall and the winter time. And it's something that's very tasty. This happens to be beef stew. I've had beef stroganoff. They make breakfasts where you can get eggs with bacon and cheese. And to tell you the truth, they're pretty tasty. I'm okay with it. I'm not a connoisseur. But they're certainly palatable for me, and they're about $9 at Walmart. They have them at REI and Cabela's and all of the other places where you get camping equipment, and they have many different brands, many different flavors, many different types of meals. So you just have to experiment with what you like to eat and try them out. Something else that you can consider bringing, I already mentioned Vienna sausages, but here's some canned chicken. You can get tuna, and you can eat this right out of the can without heating it up. I like chicken salad with mayonnaise, but I wouldn't bring mayonnaise on a trip when it's going to be hot in the car, and my cooler's going to heat up, or I just don't like to take the chance of something spoiling and making me ill while I'm trying to be out having fun. I don't want to have to go home because I don't feel well and I've got to run to the bathroom all the time. And then something else that I like to bring, which I shouldn't, but I do, is cookies. Cookies are very convenient and of course don't go bad. Or you could try to be healthier. Tell you the truth, I don't think these are much healthier than cookies, but you can bring something like a Cliff Bar or something that is an energy bar that fills you up more. You know, with the grains, it just, I guess, gives you long-lasting energy as opposed to the cookies giving you quick energy. And so those are some ideas of what I bring when I go car camping. Again, let me just say that I think the most important thing is that you pick meals and foods that you like. If you bring, my opinion, if you bring food because you're trying to be healthier while you're camping, at least what I do, if I bring a salad or something, I look at it and I go, oh, I just want a nice hot meal, or I just want something that I like. I don't really care for salads. So I wouldn't try to go on a diet or to bring food that you're not used to just to be healthier when you're camping. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you do what you want to do. But these are some ideas of things that you can bring that won't spoil in a cooler. And once again, I recommend that you bring what you currently have and make use of it, and then buy what you need if that's not working for you. I don't recommend you go out and buy a fridge or a cooler right away if you have something that you can try at home. Make use of things that you have, like water bottles you can freeze, spring water bottles that you can refill and reuse, and then see what you need. You could even try bringing just a cooler bag. This was, I think, $6 at Walmart many years ago. This is actually where I put my dry goods. This cooler bag does not keep things cold for quite as long as the styrofoam cooler. So, but if you have it already and you don't have a cooler, bring it and see how long it lasts. See what kind of ice you need to purchase in order to keep your food cool on the road. Or bring foods that don't need any kind of refrigeration and won't go bad, and just make do with those foods while you're on your camping trip. Honestly, the experience of camping, while I love campfire cooked meals, I'm not willing to go through the hassle of cleaning the pots and pans afterwards, the prep of the food, etc. I just want to relax and not have to do a lot of cooking while I'm camping. But the experience really is about enjoying nature, being outside, being with friends, and camping, and it's not really about the gourmet experience, in my opinion. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some ideas about what food to bring while car camping or tent camping, etc. If you have any ideas for our other viewers, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to know what you like to bring when you go camping, and what foods you like to eat when you're outdoors. And leave me a comment and let me know if you have any questions. We also have a group on the East Coast that meets in person and goes car camping through spring, summer, fall, and even in a little bit in the winter time. The meetup group is called Solo Female Van Life Adventures, and we meet virtually on Zoom Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. to get to know each other, and then we meet up in person and go car camping. So if you're on the East Coast and you want to join us, check that out in Meetup, Solo Female Van Life Adventures. This is Santina from Solo Female Van Life Lessons YouTube channel, signing off and saying safe travels and enjoy your food.